We're going to format this Photoshop image to be used on a web page. We're going to use JPEG formatting because this is a photograph with millions of colors. That will be the best format for this be supported by a web page. First, let's resize it. It looks a little big for a web page. It looks to be about 25 pixels wide and about 1660 pixels tall. So let's resize it first so it fits on the page better. We can go to Image, Image Size, and if you don't see pixels, let's say it shows up in inches, you can always change that format to pixels. Also make sure that this lock link has been pushed down. That means it will scale proportionally when I change the size. You can turn that off, but it's best if you turn it on because it will scale down proportionally. Let's make it 400 pixels wide in the width, and then hit OK. It got a lot smaller. That's not its true size. We can look down in the bottom left, and that's 50% of its real size. So we can use the magnifying glass and click twice, and now it's at 100% of its viewable real size. So that was just resizing it so it would fit on the page geometry better. Now let's turn it into a JPEG. Remember, JPEG is because it's a photograph with millions of colors, and it will look good as a JPEG. So let's go to File, Export, and from File, Export, let's choose Save for the Web Legacy, because that's a good way to save it. So File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. Then you see several windows pop up. This one you can see is titled The Original, with it at 313K original file size. And notice just using the generic high, we could go to high quality format. Notice over here on the right, you have JPEG, GIF, PNG 8, PNG 24, and a WPMP. Let's use JPEG because that supports millions of colors. You'll notice that that's our original. That's the one that we've converted to a web image. It still looks good, but check it out. It's 313K for file size for the original, and our JPEG is already down to 40.56K, which is a lot smaller in file size. That may not make a lot of difference on a broadband connection download for a home computer, but if you put lots of images on the same one web page, they'll add up to a larger file size. You definitely want to keep the file sizes as low as possible so that it downloads to the smartphone over a slower network. That will give the smartphone viewer a better user experience. And you can change the quality of the JPEG also. And get that slider, and you can take it all the way down. That looks really bad. I can start to see pixelating and other bad looking artifacts. So I'm going to push the quality up until it looks good. Looks good about 48. Let's take it to 50. It looks good at 50, and we've gotten it down to 33.49K, which is a lot smaller than the original file size. Now, if you don't see these two windows when you originally opened this, there's tabs up here. You can see the original. You can see the one you've optimized or formatted. I like the two up because it shows me the original and then the finished compressed image that I can use on a web page. And there's the 4 up to try a bunch of different things. I don't need 4 up. I don't need to try 3 different web formats. I just need one. So I look at the original and I look at JPEG. And remember, to get the JPEG formatting, you come over here and you pick one of these formats for it. And of course we pick JPEG since it's a photograph. Then you save it. I'm going to save it as Moonman1. Notice it's a JPG, not a PSD. And I'm going to save that to my desktop so I can find it later to put on a web page. And that's how we made an image for a web page from a Photoshop document. And once again, we chose JPEG because this is a photograph and JPEG supports millions of colors.